There is this scene in the film 1 Hour Photo where the protagonist Sai, who works at the film development lab in a supermarket, while developing pictures for a family, a regular customer of the store, develops an obsession over them. He traces their address and, knowing when the house would be empty, breaks into it. He looks around with the wondrous smile of a child discovering a new world and then does this. We quickly learn that he doesn't actually break into the house, he merely imagines it from afar. He also fantasizes watching a game in the comfort of the family couch and being welcomed by the family to become a part of it. But why did he imagine taking a dump in the house? It lingered in my mind for a long time. Robin Williams and writer-director Mark Romanek had this to say in the commentary track of the film.
This makes people laugh and then they go, oh, but they're very disturbed.
This is the ultimate kind of violation of your personal space. Someone leaves a resume.
While we can see it as the ultimate violation and sort of leaving a calling card, but since it is in Sai's imagination after all, it could also be interpreted as his desperate attempt at being integrated into the family by using the same intimate part of the house that the family uses. Perhaps imagining performing such a private activity in this house made him feel at home there. Or maybe I'm just overthinking and it could simply be that he just felt like taking a shit in the house. As someone for whom bathrooms are unusually important due to a slight OCD, I often feel quite anxious about having to use a bathroom that's not the one in my home. Every time I visit a place where I have to stay overnight, the first thing I check is whether the bathroom is clean and if everything in it works properly. Perhaps because I was born and grew up in a country where public toilets are notoriously dirty and often absolutely unusable, at least to me, having anxiety about getting the call of nature in a place that is not my home has been a regular part of my life. Maybe because of this conscious relationship of mine with bathrooms, the presence of them in movies, TV shows, video games, etc. tend to get noted by my brain kind of naturally. That is why I decided to make this two-part video where I'll be discussing all about bathrooms and bathroom businesses found on screen and my interpretation of what they could mean, some interesting patterns I've noticed about them, etc.
I bet you like it.
I will be discussing gross stuff like urinating, defecation, vomiting, etc. And they will be accompanied by clips from relevant movies, TV shows, video games, all of them works of fiction, but still they might be considered sensitive by some viewers, so try not to watch this video while eating, I guess.
I didn't promise this shit would be good.
Anyway, let's start the video. Since we're on the topic of defecation, let's continue from there.
The future is shit.
Perhaps the most common usage of defecation in movies is seen in a comedic setup where someone really needs to do a number two. Most of the time because they ate food that they're not used to, or even more commonly because someone put laxative in their drinks. Usually as a form of light-hearted vengeful prank, but often as a means to remove an obstacle from romantic competition, or competition of any type really, or sometimes to physically remove a person on guard duty to be able to pull off some kind of a heist.
And now I have diarrhea.
Once the uncontrollable rush manifests itself in the victim's stomach, it's usually followed by an urgent search for a bathroom, which is either too far or there are some kind of obstacles on the way.
Occupied. I'm gonna be here all night, dude.
Finally, after finding a place, it often ends up being within someone's earshot. So now there's an extra pressure of dealing with bombastic diarrhea that needs to be quieted down. Such attempts usually go in vain, as inevitably something goes wrong.
I hope you're not using the toilet, it's broken.
Huh?
The payoff of these defecation-related jokes almost 100% of the times comes from the subject of such jokes failing to contain the pressure of both their bowel movement and the social situation surrounding it, and ending in a very public, very loud, bombastic defecation. Apart from these examples of defecation where the primary purpose for their existence in a story is to get a laugh out of the audience, feces can be used surprisingly effectively in much more serious and intense situations to portray desperation, admittedly with a potential secondary outcome of humor.
Anything? No solids.
In the Norwegian film Headhunters, for example, a man's desperation to save his own life makes him submerge himself fully in feces, and the scene is portrayed with such seriousness and nail-biting suspense that most viewers, myself included, would not feel like laughing even though he is literally drowning himself in shit and stays covered in it for a very good length of time after the scene.
Yuck.
In Slumdog Millionaire, we meet Jamal, a slum-dwelling young boy who, in desperation to see his idol in flesh, the famous Bollywood star Amitabh Bachchan, decides to forfeit all sense of self-hygiene and jumps in a pile of feces. For such recklessness, he even gets rewarded by an autograph from the superstar himself. While the film definitively shows it as a real event that took place in Jamal's life, with the autograph picture playing a role later, for me personally, the sheer unlikeliness of a stool-covered boy getting welcomed by a celebrity with an autograph makes it feel like it can only be a dream or a false memory. Yet, ironically, the unbelievable action Jamal takes just to see his favorite superstar does paint a very real picture of the absolute craze surrounding Bollywood celebrities that was part of the Indian culture at the time. Also, the scene, despite this incredulity, succeeds in showing the resoluteness of the character Jamal, which again plays a role throughout the rest of the film. The best example from recent years, if not ever, of using gross stuff like vomit and diarrhea to create great satire is seen in the 2022 film Triangle of Sadness. It's set in a luxury yacht where a wealthy aristocrat who claims to believe everyone is equal,
everyone's equal,
in a spur of whimsy decides, and then in her intimidating generosity forces the crew in the ship to pause everything they were doing and take a fun waterslide swimming break.
I command you, enjoy the moment.
This results in the food being cooked late and thus going bad, which together with the bad weather that rocks the boat heavily during the captain's dinner at night, results in an epic festival of vomiting, shitting and vomiting simultaneously, overflowing of toilets and complete chaos. As a perfect metaphor for the bursting of the elite's bubble, who, by living in a world of luxury and abundance, often forget how the cogs in the machine that is the society really work. The topic of defecation could indeed be the center of stories about oppression and even a weapon of social revolution to trample practice of nonsensical traditions in the name of religion. In the 2017 Indian film Toilet: A Love Story, the rather common religious orthodoxy in rural India that deems constructing a toilet in the vicinity of a household as a sinful act is criticized through a relationship drama. Keshav, being the son of a superstitious priest, falls in love with Jaya, a modern, educated girl from a nearby village. They get married, and right after moving in with Keshav in his father's house, Jaya discovers that his house does not have a toilet. Keshav's father, being a priest and thus stricter about upholding traditions, barred the construction of a toilet in the house because it is considered a dirty place that would tarnish the sanctity of the house. The villagers abide by such rules as well, resulting in lack of toilets anywhere in the village. Women of the village, therefore, have to group together and defecate in the open field every morning before everyone else wakes up. Shocked by such revelation, Jaya understandably refuses to comply with it, and this leads to an interesting relationship crisis between Jaya and Keshav, which leads to a court case that eventually results in the shattering of such ancient unhealthy practices in the name of tradition. The film is based on a true story. Similarly, the bathroom plays a pivotal role in portraying the systemic racism prevalent in 1960s Mississippi in the 2011 American film The Help, where the leader figure of the local women's social group, Haley Holbrook, tries to get it legally binding for every house to build a separate bathroom for the maids, all of them women of color.
It's just plain dangerous. They carry different diseases than we do.
In a stormy night, Hilly's maid Minnie, unable to get to the bathroom assigned to her outside of the house, secretly tries to use the indoor bathroom and gets caught by Hilly, who wrathfully fires her on the spot. To an extent, this event works as a major catalyst in the unfolding of the plot of the film.
Do you want to talk about the bathroom?
And at one point, Minnie makes a pie for Hilly as a symbol of apology.
Sorry.
Which Hilly devours and praises its deliciousness.
What do you put in here that makes it taste so good?
Only to find out that the secret ingredient in the pie is literally
My shit.
And then they eat the poo-poo.
While there has been quite a few odd indie games made where the act of using the toilet is heavily featured, if they're not outright the main thing about these games, they're not as common in more popular mainstream video games. Especially visual depiction of defecation with any significant degree of detail is pretty hard to find. A somewhat famous, or I guess infamous example is the multiplayer game Scum, where you have to regularly clear your bladder and bowel by peeing and pooping. You can also get diarrhea, which, mimicking real life, means you would start to poop involuntarily, even in the middle of intense battles, or maybe especially then. There's the famous Guardian Ape boss in Sekiro who defecates on his hand and throws it directly at you, which you can deflect with your sword, or if you can't, the third boulder could actually kill you. The ape can also fart in your face, which unsurprisingly causes poison damage. Speaking of farting on the face, in Conker's Bad Fur Day, this mouse burps and farts on your face, which causes you to vomit. As a revenge for it, you have to feed him tons of cheese, which causes him to form so much gas inside that he explodes and dies with a last breath of fart coming out of his spine. It also has a whole level about poo.
I'm looking for some poo.
Where the background music is made out of noises like this. In this level, you must ride a bull to stab a few cows to make them drink prune juice, to then give them diarrhea and fill a whole barn with poo, and then roll a poo ball from that barn over to a mountain full of poo in order to open the gate of the mountain and then encounter a boss named the Great Mighty Poo, who, as the name might suggest, is literally
A piece of shit.
Who throws smaller pieces of shit at the player while performing a very catchy musical number.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
Somewhat predictably, you defeat the boss by throwing toilet paper at him and eventually flushing him out.
I'm flushing! Oh, what a world, what a world!
Of course, there has been indie shorts and features that feature creatures made out of feces. But the only movie I found with notable actors where a monster made of feces is featured is the 1999 film Dogma, and the monster is called the Excremental, aka
A shit demon!
Although the act of defecating, as mentioned, is not very easily found in popular games, urination is a bit of a different story. If not outright an actual gameplay feature, peeing as an added interactivity or simply the portrayal of peeing is rather common in games. Again, in Conker's Bad Fur Day, there is a level situated in an industrial area where you have to get drunk and pee on fire imps to defeat them. In Scarface, The World Is Yours, you can pee to refill your health. In Biomutant, you unlock fast-traveling checkpoints by urinating on signposts. In Postal 2, you can pee on rugs, computers, lamps, people, and basically anywhere. In Duke Nukem Forever, apart from the fact that the first thing you get to do in the game is pee on a urinal, finding toilets and peeing on them can actually increase your maximum health. So can admiring yourself in the mirror and many other interactions. You can also grab actual pieces of turd from the toilet and throw it around for fun.
Disgusting.
While Hideo Kojima is not shy of having defecation in his games, in Metal Gear Solid 4, this guy named Akiba constantly poops his pants because he didn't inject himself with nanomachines, which later on actually proves to work quite well in his favor. In Metal Gear Solid 5, you can make your horse poop to hide landmines in them or make enemy vehicles skid on the poop to entrap them, but Kojima is perhaps the undisputed champion of featuring peeing in his games. Pretty much every game of his feature urinating. A lot. In Metal Gear series alone, you have a whole family name soaked in terror-filled urine, the Emmerichs. Father Huey Emmerich gets thrown off stairs in MGS5 and pees his pants in terror. His son Hal Emmerich faces a cybernetic ninja with stealth camouflage in MGS1 and pees his pants in terror. His stepsister and Huey's stepdaughter Emma Emmerich in MGS2, upon getting discovered by Raiden with a gun pointing towards her, pees her pants in terror. Raiden himself in the same game has to go through the humiliation of getting peed on himself by a random guard.
I can taste the bubbles.
Dr. Sokolov in MGS3, upon being threatened by the creepy circus clown-like juggling of guns performed by Ocelot, pees his pants in terror. Even Snake himself in the same game, while being tortured in captivity, pees his
Yes, that's what I want to see.
Death Stranding, another Kojima game, has peeing as a distinct gameplay feature. Sam, the protagonist of the game, can urinate and defecate in his bathroom, and in this futuristic world there exists technology that can convert his urine and stools into actual grenades that can be used later in battles. He can pee on the ground outdoors, which grows into mushrooms that are visible to other players. If enough players pee on the same spot, it grows into bigger mushroom clusters that can be harvested. Peeing thus is made into a communal activity in this game, not very much unlike how it's portrayed in some movies. When urinating is not used for comedic purposes, which primarily involves piss landing anywhere but inside the toilet, or for portraying characters showing grave contempt towards someone or trying to threaten them by showing complete lack of respect.
No, don't do that. Not on the rug, man.
Or to portray physical sickness or degrading health, the most common portrayal of urination in movies has to be in the workplace bathroom scene. Co-workers are often seen taking care of some quick business talk in bathrooms while taking a whiz. The workplace bathroom is also a great place for having a quick secret meeting away from the eyes and ears of colleagues.
Use the ladies' room!
Even outside of workplaces, for a site that is built to conduct some inherently private activities, bathrooms are seemingly a common place for socializing, certainly in American culture. Perhaps because it's a place where people go to perform activities which remind us that at the end of the day, we're all just humans, it temporarily breaks down all kinds of barriers and disarms people in a way that, at least for a short time, opens up opportunities for conversation between people from very different strata of society, for arguments between friends, for bonding between friends, or to make new friends, for the awkward siblings to bond over washing hands, for the hopeless lover to finally get the courage to speak his mind, and so on. And that's it for this video. In the next one, I'll be exploring other aspects of bathrooms that contribute to storytelling in ways that you probably haven't noticed. For example, what importance does the bathroom mirror have? What does a bathtub signify? Why do people lose their teeth in the bathroom? And many more. It's not going to be as gross as this one, I promise. If you're watching this video a week after its release, the next video should be somewhere on the screen, and of course links should be in the description. See you there.